essentially how I feel about life. Full of loneliness and misery and suffering and unhappiness, and it's all over much too quickly. The question is, have I learned anything about life?
Hey guys, Zuno coming from Essence of Zen here, or if you're the class watching this video, you know me as Zane Blaylock. Now I'm introducing this project known as the ZenDrone, which is basically my class project for the CSC class MATLAB, in which I'm going to use MATLAB to write programs for calculating the ohm resistance, transistor calculations, voltage regulation, and etc., while also using the plot mechanics to try to map and catalog data for propeller speeds, rotation, yaw, and pitch for the drone in the future. But the main root of this project derives upon actual physical hardware. Why did I choose to do hardware for this particular class project? Well, I'm a hardware concentration major for computer science, and it's been a while since I've done a hardware project, and this was the perfect opportunity to do so. That being said, I'm using everything from essentially scratch. I'm building an Arduino clone to act as the brain for the drone. I'm going to be building custom shields for information displays. If you're looking on the screen now, you may actually see my breadboard at the bottom left displaying two 7-segment displays. You see that the letter P is lighting up. That's for future codes to display modes, drone operations, error codes, and etc. For this particular update, or at least project announcement, I'm just going to show you the basic start of the Arduino clone, which will act as the base for the drone. You can see that I have the proto board, which is basically a set of sockets allowing to have pins for soldering and for different components in a general laid out display. This isn't as complicated as dedicated circuits because nothing is pre-mapped, which makes it a little bit more difficult. As you can see, there's scars across the board to basically allow for room of actual disconnected connections. But I digress. Let's move on forward to actually working with the soldering of the device. So essentially what you end up with is the section for the microcontroller to actually have its chip. This is the chip. This is the chip itself. This chip will essentially fit right on top of here. And what this is here for is if I want to have multiple different chips to use for, let's say, profiles or different versions of the drone's mechanics and processing of the way it works, maneuvers, or etc., I can actually switch these out on the fly. So that's actually it for the main update. Next update will actually have the entirety of the Arduino clone, or basically our brain for the drone, completed. And if I can get the proper mounting brackets, I'll actually try to have a better view for the soldering and the circuitry and etc. For this project. In fact, let me test these out real quick. So when we test our circuit and our connections, we use a multimeter, also known as a multimeter, depending on where you learned the word from or where you. So when we set the multimeter to a certain setting for sound, when we complete a circuit, we'll get a beeping sound. So we'll know if the circuits on our board here actually works. Alright, so every connection is solid and there are no accidental bridging for the sides. So that's pretty much going to do it for our, I won't even call it an update because this is actually the first video, so it's more of an announcement project. It's basically a test. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to actually pull off this project. So it's also important to note that I will eventually post this particular project over at the forums. That's forum.essencezen.org. And I'll try to post the schematics that I use for the Arduino clone, the schematics and the tools that I'll use for the actual drone build, and essentially the steps needed to get this working. I'll have a link to all of the materials and components that I use or purchase throughout the project, some that I already have freehand. But if I can find a proper replacement title for you like Amazon, I'll do that. Please note those links will be Amazon affiliates, so if you use them, you will be supporting Essence of Zen, myself, the project, etc. to do more crazy builds like this. I'll see you all in the next update. Hopefully I'll have a lot more to show off actually in terms of physical things. So take care.